Members of ActionSA who are here, councillors who are here, members of our caucus who are here, particularly the caucus of Tshwane, as well as the caucus of Johannesburg, the City of Johannesburg. At the table with me, my colleague to my left is my colleague Sam Mgobozi, who serves as the National Director of Communications, is the reason why the media is here and the reason why we're all in this particular room for this press conference. To my right is the National Chairperson of ActionSA. Is it the National Chair? Hey, I forget these days. I've called you everything. The National Chairperson of ActionSA, Mr. Michael Beaumont. And then next to Michael is the Gauteng Provincial Chairperson, Mr. Funzi Ngobeni. The order proceedings is quite simple. We're going to have Funzi Ngobeni come up and tell us the significance of this moment for our organization, for the party, and particularly for the City of Tshwane. He will be followed by the National Chairperson, Mr. Michael Beaumont, who will do the ceremonial necessaries. And then after that, I'll come back and take a Q&A from those who will have questions. With that said, Mr. Funzi Ngobeni.
Good morning to the media and good morning to everyone that is in the house, friends and family. Mine will not be long. I think our national chair will address the media with all the details. Suffice to say that it's an exciting time for us as ActionSA in Gauteng. We are very concerned about municipalities in Gauteng that are obviously not stable. And Tshwane is among those municipalities. You see, ours as Gauteng is that we are looking beyond just Tshwane. We are looking at other municipalities, other metros, and we believe that after these elections that are coming sometime in May, we will be in government in the province. And when we are in government in the province, our first point of call, our first priority will be to stabilize municipalities in Gauteng, because issues are about local. And people want parties that will be able to come and deliver issues, deliver service delivery in Gauteng. So I'm not going to go a lot. I'm going to ask Michael to firstly come in and make this announcement that everyone has been waiting for. And when we engage with you on question and answers, we'll also tackle some of the decisions that we had to make as the province, including having to ask some of our councillors to move from one position to the other, and some of them to even leave council as well. And we want to thank them for being gracious and humble, for cooperating with the national leadership and ensuring that this decision can be able to be implemented. But without further ado, I'm going to ask our national chairperson to address the meeting. Michael?
All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, those present in this room, and I think so importantly, those outside of this room who are watching from their places of work and from their homes, concerned with the governance in Gauteng and looking to see what this moment speaks to in terms of those concerns. I think firstly, it's a hugely important starting point to speak about the coalition agreement. What is happening today is actually the manifestation of over 2 years' worth of work. On the 15th of December 2021, the multi-party coalition agreement that governs our coalition in the City of Tshwane was signed, and in that agreement, the position of the Deputy Mayor was to be established. It has been a long time coming. It is not something that has been created recently to deal with any dynamic within the coalition. It was actually deemed hugely necessary to make sure we broaden and deepen co-governance within the municipality of Tshwane. As we have so often said, and I know as members of the media have commentated, we can all appreciate that coalition government is the future in South Africa, whether we like it or not. And really, it's about how we come to terms with producing stable coalitions that deliver effectively for their residents. And one of the most important principles that underpins that idea is this idea of co-governance. the idea that you don't have a government of one party supported by a bunch of other parties, which, let me tell you, if you're concerned about instability, instability can often arise and has often arisen from political parties who find that their agenda of servicing their constituents and their governance priorities does not find expression in the government. And that is why the coalition, in its wisdom, saw fit in December 2021 to say that we needed the position of a deputy executive mayor in the city of Tshwane and in other metros where coalition agreements were signed at the time. It is also not unusual. We have a deputy mayor in the city of Cape Town. There's a deputy mayor in the city of eThekwini. And as a matter of fact, it is already common cause in many provinces that the idea of deputy mayors is taking root, so that power sharing and co-governance becomes a fundamental principle behind local government coalitions. I think it's also very important to address at this time criticisms that have been leveled against this decision, most obviously by our political opponents in the Tshwane Council. And when I say address, I intend to deal with it in the most dismissive manner possible, because it is massively hypocritical for the EFF to talk about somehow deputy mayor positions being a problem in the context of ailing cities, when in fact the EFF holds a number of deputy mayoralships under their highly hypocritical governments with the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal, and they're involved in a number of coalitions, including places like eThekwini, where deputy mayorships exist. So I think we must understand the EFF's criticism for what it is political showmanship. In real terms, what we have here is a municipality, and a municipality that has a number of challenges that have been well documented over a period of time. And the idea that we seek to improve how those challenges are addressed by deepening the principles of co-governance and diversifying the leadership approach to how we address those challenges is hardly controversial in the context of a 46 billion rand capital city of our country. And I think that's a helpful starting point to make the observation that the city of Tshwane and this term of office since December 2021 has not been without its challenges. And I think to deny that would be absolutely foolish. Many of those challenges have taken place very publicly, and many of those challenges have had to be dealt with at the level of ensuring that they do not allow disruption to service delivery and a loss of services on the ground in communities. And whether you are talking about the Hammanskraal water crisis, whether you're talking about the investigation into Edwin Sodi's Blackhead Consulting and the blatant wrongdoing that clearly has taken place in the Rooiwal Wastewater Treatment plant, whether you're talking about the Kratos unsolicited bid or the recent strike that has been brought to an end after 4 months in the city of Tshwane, you cannot but help think that had a deputy mayor been in place, these things could have been dealt with better. And that is why we take this approach to say, this is not something that we have any shame over. This is not about positions. This is about making sure that ActionSA can contribute to the leadership of the city of Tshwane and can play an integral role in making sure that we don't have to go through these challenges again. And as part of that process, a set of delegations have been decided and agreed by the coalition for the deputy executive mayor and will in turn find expression in the governance processes of the Tshwane Council. And what I can tell you straight from the start is that these delegations are far from ceremonial. Tshwane doesn't need a ceremonial deputy executive mayor. Tshwane needs a deputy executive mayor who knows what the challenges are and has the delegations to get in there and work alongside the mayor to address those challenges. And that's exactly what these delegations have achieved. And let me take a moment to pay a massive tribute to our coalition partners very broadly, who have engaged in this process with massive maturity and have engaged in this process in the best interests of the residents of Tshwane. But also, most particularly, I would like to single out for credit the DA. The DA has engaged with us in the process of developing these delegations, and with them, we have come up with a set of delegations that is going to see Mayor Brink and Deputy Executive Mayor Moya do excellent work together in working for the residents of Tshwane and that is an example of how parties working together achieve outcomes for the benefit of residents by putting their personal politics aside. Now, what these delegations will mean going forward is that the Deputy Executive Mayor will have the authority of chairing committees that relate to service delivery, both from an infrastructure point of view, as well from an operational frontline service delivery point of view. But very important to us is that the Deputy Executive Mayor in Tshwane will possess delegations to go on the ground to any site of service delivery failure, whether it be of an operational or a CapEx nature, and summon municipal officials, political leaders, and contractors to the site so that clarity can be provided and plans of actions can be produced to address those challenges. So if you look for reasons how this decision benefits the residents of Tshwane, every time you see frontline service delivery issues, every time you see electricity going off because substations are battling, every time you see the traffic lights out or the potholes in the road, every time you see the sewage overflowing in the streets, this decision is going to be aimed at addressing those challenges and improving the capacity of the political leadership of Tshwane to address it most fundamentally. And that is why I stand before you today to say very proudly that this decision that has been developed in close concert with our coalition partners is going to produce a positive outcome for the residents of Tshwane who I think are overdue these kind of outcomes. And it is necessary for me to perform the most important task, which is to tell you a little bit about our soon-to-be elected Deputy Executive Mayor, who is the CEO of our coalition partner, of all of the coalition partners in our agreement, which constitute a majority in the City of Tshwane. And it is our understanding that this election is to take place this coming Thursday. She has lived in the city since 2016. She grew up in a rural village in the Eastern Cape called Impikwana, outside Mthatha, where she lived until the age of 15. I'm very pleased to see that her sister, Tembagazi, and her niece, Nasipho, are here with us today, and I welcome the family being with us. It's good to share in this special occasion with you. She moved to Gugulethu at the age of 15, and in her time there, succeeded in her studies to the point where she achieved her Bachelor of Social Science from UCT in 2007. She achieved her honors from the same establishment in 2008, dealing with a dissertation on democratic decentralization in developing countries. In 2011, she did a master's in public policy and administration, and I'm very pleased to see that in 2021, she obtained her PhD from the University of the Western Cape on nation building. So when I say ActionSA brings you a highly qualified person to this role, there's absolutely no question about that. But her qualifications is not where it starts and ends, because she has a great deal of experience. She has worked in the monitoring and evaluation field for foundations that have monitored and evaluated the performance of parliamentary subcommittees. She has worked with NGOs. She has worked in a major political party, heading up their performance management processes for all of their public representatives. And as you can imagine, the idea of political leaders who ensure that politicians deliver on their commitments is a principle I think most South Africans most certainly can identify with. She has served as our head of governance in ActionSA since its inception, where she has overseen the work of our caucuses as one key function and provided leadership to them to make sure that they are effective in their work. And to show you how seriously we take this role, we provide such an individual from our party, losing out on the leadership she has provided us in order to make sure the residents of Tshwane benefit from her work. From a Tshwane perspective, she's worked as the group head in the office of the chief whip, and she's worked as the chief of staff to an executive mayor, during which time she became very well known for someone who would reach across the aisles and establish political relationships, no matter which political party those people come from, recognizing that all residents deserve representation and deserve services irrespective of who they vote for. And this is certainly a principle that we believe is going to be very fitting in the coalition environment in the City of Tshwane. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my absolute pleasure to announce Dr. Nasipho Moya as ActionSA's nominee for the position of Deputy Executive Mayor in the City of Tshwane.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
First of all, let me acknowledge my family for being here. It's not every day that you take your family to work. I think one thing, scared as I am and nervous as I am today, one assurance that I can give to the Moya tribe is that I know exactly what Umama and Utata would say today. And I promise you that those words are with me in my heart, and I will never disappoint them. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the press, South Africans, ActionSA colleagues present here, and most importantly, the residents of Tshwane, I greet you this morning. Today, I stand before you deeply honored and grateful to have received the nomination of the governing multi-party coalition to serve as the first ever Deputy Executive Mayor in the City of Tshwane. I am humbled by the trust and confidence placed in me by the ActionSA leadership and our coalition partners. Most importantly, I respect the voters of our capital city who have placed their trust in a coalition of our capital city to be a source of pride to all. The opportunity to serve the residents of Tshwane is the one that I do take lightly, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm fully committed to dedicated my time, energy, and expertise to the betterment of our great capital city. I fully appreciate that the task that lays before me is a huge one, but it is a necessary one to ensure the stability of services to my fellow residents of the City of Tshwane. Before I continue, ladies and gentlemen, I would be remiss not to acknowledge the wisdom and foresight of Mr. Herman Mashaba, who founded our political party and extended an invitation to South Africans like myself to use it as a vehicle to serve society. I'm grateful to his vision and leadership, which has paved the way for me to make a positive impact. I'm grateful to have the opportunity to join a diverse and dedicated team of men and women who are part of the ActionSA caucus, the coalition, and council that started the journey in 2021. As a resident of the city, I have efforts in building this city and serve its residents. Their work has laid a solid foundation for the work ahead. As stated, I'm sure the chairperson has stated this, I'm not new to Tshwane. I have stayed here for a number of years now, and I have served in this great city in different roles. First, as the head of the office of the chief whip. Second, as the chief of staff to the then executive mayor. I do note the concerns and skepticisms of the opposition in council regarding the creation of the deputy executive mayor position. But I can assure the opposition that the position is not about prestige. Anyone who knows me can tell you that this has never been part of my personal plans. But I can assure them that this position is about delivery, and the opposition, should they wish to, and if they would like to put an effort in our relationship, they will always find my door open. And I think it is time that we put our political differences aside, we rise above partisan politics, and we prioritize the needs of the communities. I do think that the residents of Tshwane deserves nothing less than that. So the question that has been in everyone's mind, and I'm sure the National Chair has touched on this, but let me also share it with you. The responsibility comes, in addition to deputizing as outlined in the legislation, this role brings with it a unique opportunity to oversee and focus on transversal functions that are relating to infrastructure development, repairs, and maintenance. Specifically, there are three responsibilities that are quite unique. One is that of overseeing capital projects. My responsibility is to ensure that major development initiatives are effectively managed, monitored, and completed in a timely manner. By providing strong leadership and coordination, as the executive, we can deliver infrastructure projects to meet the needs of our residents and contribute to the economic growth of our city. The second responsibility is that of overseeing service delivery at a regional level. It is essential that services are efficiently delivered to all regions of Tshwane. Through collaboration with various stakeholders and close coordination with MMCs deployed in regions, I will work tirelessly to ensure that residents in every corner of our city receive the services they deserve. The third one is that of working with the COO, the Chief Operating Officer's portfolio. Obviously, ladies and gentlemen, effective administrative support is essential for the successful implementation of these two functions that I've outlined above. So by working closely with the COO portfolio, we can streamline processes, enhance efficiency, and ensure that the resources are allocated optimally to achieve tangible results for residents of Tshwane. I believe that anyone who has witnessed the past 2 years of this term of office will appreciate how important these functions will be to a city that has demonstrated some blind spots that an extra set of eyes in leadership will most certainly help to address. By having a coordinated approach to infrastructure and service delivery, we can achieve numerous benefits. One of the key advantages is the proper coordination of how funds are allocated across capital projects. The second one, which is very close to my heart, is following the money. It happens year in and year out in all municipalities across the country that there is a perfect budget, but the budget and the expenditure doesn't meet what is on the ground. This one is very close to my heart. Therefore, by following the money, we can track expenditures, prevent wastage, ensure that resources are directed where they are needed the most. Through this coordinated approach, we can maximize benefits to our residents and enhance the quality and efficiency of service delivery. Through our collective efforts, it is imperative that we put an end to under-expenditure of capital budget. I understand that this is not a challenge that's unique to Tshwane, but our focus today is Tshwane. Reduce the return of grants to national departments and decrease the number of incomplete projects in our city. Many residents are sitting with ghost projects, whether it's the library that was started 5 years ago and no one ever went back to return to, and we need to put a stop to that. So therefore, by actively addressing these issues, we can build trust among residents and stakeholders, attract further investments to our city, and create the positive change the residents of Tshwane deserve. On the other hand, I will continue with the work of my colleague, Councillor Peggy de Bruyn, in the Community and Social Development portfolio. I've watched Councillor de Bruyn work tirelessly in the past 2 years to serve the residents to realize social and economic justice of the most vulnerable residents in the city. And this we will do through programs such as the EPWP, ECDs, indigent programs, ensuring functional libraries, sports and recreations, art development, among others. I take this baton with a full appreciation that the journey of social and economic justice is continuous, and overseeing this portfolio will involve not only sustaining but also building upon the existing foundation to deliver these services to the residents of Tshwane. To ActionSA's coalition partners, I express my appreciation for endorsement of my candidature. The past 2 years has not always been smooth sailing from a coalition standpoint, but I offer my personal assurance that I have no interest in party politics. My only interest in this role is to see an effective coalition delivering to all the residents of our capital city, and on this you will find we are all on the same side. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, I am deeply honored to accept the nomination as Deputy Executive Mayor of the City of Tshwane. I pledge my commitment to this role, knowing that it is a responsibility that goes beyond personal motives. Thank you so much.
Should I address you, Deputy Minister? Hi, Ntlanta.
I don't know if you remember that scene in one of the interviews that happened in studio some years ago. So the speech was that good. I literally
Fell off your chair.
my chair. Thank you so very much, Dr. Moya. Oh my goodness. It is indeed a happy new year, ladies and gentlemen. You know, one of the things I wanted to say when, as Dr. Moya was delivering her speech is that, you know, it's very inspiring, and we are very proud as members of ActionSA who, at our policy conference last year, made a commitment that we were not going to go the quota route, but that our organizational culture will be one of equity, fairness, and balance in our organization, and particularly in leadership. And it's fantastic to see that even as these positions come up and all of these opportunities come up, there is a commitment to gender equity. And it's, for me as a woman, it's very encouraging to have as ActionSA the very first Deputy Mayor of the City of Tshwane, who also is Womandla. So I'm very, very proud of that. To members of the media and anyone who wishes to ask a question, the floor is now yours. Please state your name, the organization you represent, and who you intend your questions to be answered by. Do not be shy. We are ready, willing, and able. Griselda, I was looking your way, but I just wasn't, you know, I was trying not to be biased. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Griselda Lewis from SABC Television News. Dr. Nasiphi, congratulations. Oh, thank you. Where do you want me to put that?
You can just hold it.
All right, I'll just hold it. Thank you so much. Congratulations. You come into an area that has had very tumultuous governance. There's hardly been any stability in Tshwane. From the role that has been identified, you'll actually be going to some of these problematic areas, or where we've seen some of these crises actually unfold. How would you be convincing the people of Tshwane that your role, as Michael had indicated, is not just ceremonial, but you'll actually be making a meaningful impact to change the lives of the people of Tshwane? Because it's all been about politics and the securing of positions rather than service delivery being given to the people of Tshwane. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Griselda. Anyone else? You covered? Great. Dr. Moya?
Thank you so much, and good morning once again. I think the first thing, Griselda, that we do need to acknowledge is exactly what you're saying. There hasn't been much joy between the city and the residencies, especially in this term of office, for various reasons. I mean, especially after COVID, I mean, most municipalities has been hit. Therefore, that had a compounded effect on how cities deliver, including Tshwane. And I think what is important is that when you are with the people, you see, having politics that are done in offices, that's not for the people, that's for administration. You go into the office for 2 hours, the rest of your hours you must be with the people, and you must communicate with the people. And one thing that I can assure you is that the first thing I will do is to get my facts straight, which is to look and talk to the relevant people in the city to get the list, for instance, the list of projects, how many are supposed to go on the ground, can I go and see? When I go there, I get the relevant stakeholders, the relevant MMC, the relevant ward councillor, and I get to communicate with the leadership of that community to say, we're coming to your community to inspect this project, can we talk to you? Because I think what has been the limitation is this thing of wanting to communicate with the residents with media statements, but you actually not be seen with the residents. And I think we start there, then we start to build the trust that I was talking about with the residents in person, We organize community meetings. And there are no community that's off limit where you say, I can't go there, that's not a constituency for this party or that party. So I think for me, being with the people is going to be the biggest thing, that we get off the high heels and put on our sneakers as the executive and be with the people always. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Yeah, no, thank you, and thank you, colleagues, for the question, and Nasiphi for responding. And once again, as Gauteng Province, we want to congratulate her, and that's why we are so excited, and that's why I said at the beginning that we are very happy with what's going to happen today. I think Dr. Nasiphi has covered, and Michael as well, on the issue of stability, of focusing on service delivery, of dealing with corruption. And she has also indicated just now that she will be on the ground. I think as a 36-year-old, we want to see her running on the ground. She's young enough to be in all the regions of Tshwane on the same day. So we'll be running with her when she's doing that. So we congratulate you, Doctor. And but I also want to take this opportunity, colleagues, to, as I said earlier, I want to pay tribute to our colleagues in the caucus who have graciously, with huge humility, taken this decision, and some of them we had to ask them to move around. I want to pay tribute to Mark Buikanyo. He's a councillor. If you can stand there, Mark. Councillor Buikanyo will resign and to open space for Dr. Nasiphi to go into council. And thank you very much for your humility and for really, taking the instruction and the mandate of the party. And we hope to see you doing the same on the ground with us towards the election. Thank you, Mark. And further pay tribute to the outgoing MMC. Obviously, as Michael has indicated, this position comes with us having to lose Sis Peggy, the brain, as an MMC. She has been the MMC of social development, and we want to thank her as well for the work that she has done. Colleagues, I just want to, and Nasiphi touched on some of this, some of the achievements that MMC the brain is leaving behind with Nasiphi will run with. MMC the brain has championed the digitalization of EPWP applications. They are now done through a USSD platform, and she has championed that. She has run with it. In her position, she has managed to assist the city to create 21,000 EPWP opportunities and PEP job opportunities. Those are some of the achievements. She has reopened 7 ECD centers in Region 3 and Region 6 in the city of Tshwane. MMC The Brain has signed MOUs with 9 NPOs dealing with homelessness across the city. She has not been sleeping. She has been working extremely hard, and that is why other parties have been, complaining because they were tired of her achievements. She has achieved 95% completion of Refuel Stadium in Cullinan. That stadium is almost done, and it is credit to you, MMC The Brain. We know that Pilgrim Stadium was also awarded Class 1 category as well, which is something that we are proud of, as the city of Tshwane. The city has partnered with the Gauteng Department of Sports to establish sports academies. That was through MMC's intervention. She has implemented a number of programs to support the elderly, the disabled, women, youth, and the indigent residents of Tshwane. She has built a house for an indigent family in Winterveld through the Colin Mashawana Foundation, and we credit her for really working with NGOs in achieving those type of things. She has trained 69 artisans through EPWP and TLMAs in the city. She has operationalized new Askia, Acacia, and Olivenholt libraries, which still have to be officially opened. And Dr. Nasiphi will open that, and I'm sure you will be there to come and join her. She has facilitated partnership with the U.S. Embassy, and also she has facilitated sponsorship with Nestle for the installation of solar systems at the city's Winterveld Library. And she has spent over 3 million on books from the local Tshwane authors. So MMC, thank you very much for the work that you have done for the city, for the residents of Tshwane. Thank you very much for representing ActionSA so well in your role, and we thank you as well for your humility, for accepting that you will be go to council and remain as a councillor there and assisting us as a caucus of Tshwane to ensure that we still continue to work very hard on the ground, but also to support the executive together with our deputy executive mayor-elect. So thank you, MMC De Brain. If you can stand up so that we can acknowledge you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, let me try that again.
Much better.
All right, no, thank you all so much. I think we've reached the end of the press conference. We are available for one-on-ones, should anyone want one-on-ones, particularly with the former MMC, Peggy De Brain, as well as the incoming, is it executive? Deputy Executive Mayors. Yeah, these titles in politics is hectic. Elect. As she is readying herself for the nomination and election on Thursday. My name is Lerato Ngobeni. Thank you all so very much. As always, to the media, thank you so much for always rising to the occasion and supporting our events and supporting our announcement so that South Africa, the entire South Africa, can get a message as to what it is we're offering as an alternative to the government that we currently have. And we look forward to 2024 elections, whenever they may be.